So the tool rest holder, you can see we did the main view here. We'll call that our front view with a broken out revolved section. And the main purpose of that is just to show the depth of this slot. There's really no other way to dimension that. And it's just nice to be able to see what's going on there. Of course, you have the typical top view and a left side view over here. And the reason I chose that one is I wanted to be able to show this boss here with object lines, and as opposed to hidden lines were it on the right side. Okay, so we are going to start with the lower views here. I think the this front and side view are kind of drawn simultaneously, and then we'll go for the top. Turn on my construction layers, and I'll just do that right alongside here. I'll get rid of these guys so I can do them with you. Okay, in my construction layer, we'll begin with our first offset. So the entire object is 2 inches tall. Two inches from top to bottom. And we'll work on the base here. So you can see the base is 5/8 of an inch, or 0.625. And then the more shallow slot inside, you can see, is 1/8 of an inch down from the top of that, 0.125. Not sure what's happening here. Offset, O, enter, 0.125, enter. Click the line, and then click down. Okay. All right. So that takes care of the horizontal lines for the base. And then we have this boss up here with the hole going through it. So we want to, of course, have a line going to its center. And that is given to us as 1 3/8 up from the bottom, 1.375 from the bottom up. And then the hole itself, this hole is the same exact hole, threaded hole, that was on the other drawing. It's a 1/2 13. It's a very common thread size, 1/2 inch bolt with 13 threads per inch. Super common. So the hole that is drilled through, you may recall from the other one, it actually told us, is a 27/64 hole. So you would offset the center line half of that distance on each side. 27/64 divided by 2 is 27/128 if you want to do it as a fraction. O, enter, 27/128. There it is on each side. The decimal value of that is 0.211. So you could do that also. Okay, and then you would offset the full 1/2 inch, which is a 1/4 inch on each side. So 0.25 on each side, and that's just going to be a little bit larger, and that is the thickness of the threads. So the difference between those two lines right there is the thickness of the threads. Okay. And then I believe the last horizontal line that we need is just the top of this boss. And we are told that its radius from the center line is 7/16 of an inch. So we will offset that center line right there. Again, 17/16 upward. So there you have it. And as a decimal, 7/16 is 0.438. You can see there. Okay, so that gives us all of our horizontal line offsets. And now we can work on the vertical lines. So what dimensions do they give us? The largest dimension they give us is from the center of this cylinder to the center of all the circles and radiuses on the opposite end. And they give us that distance as 5.875, so that's a good one to do. 5.875. All right, so that gives us this center to that center. Then the next real obvious line is the 4.25, as you see here, from that center to the center of the slot. So we'll do that one next. Okay. So now we have the vertical center lines. And from there, we will offset those to get us our outside dimensions on this side right here, on the right side, we can offset this hole, and we can offset this outer arc. Let's do the outer arc first. You can see that distance is 0.938 or 15/16 if you choose to do it as a fraction. So that guy over 15/16. And that is the very outside edge of the part now. And then the radius of the inside here, offset that distance. We're given a total distance of 1 1/8. The diameter, that is 9/8. So then the radius there would be 9/16. So that center line is going to go over 9/16, and that'll give us that outside edge of that arc, which is this line right here. This line right here that I'm currently hovering over comes from where this arc intersects the inside slot, the smaller slot, and the only way to find that location is to actually draw this. So we are going to wait to draw this line until we've completed the top view, because we're going to have to project that downward. So we got everything we need on the right side. Moving leftward, this guy, we will offset the this shorter distance, and then the further distance there. Okay. Let's see if we can take care of that. This smaller distance inside here, we're given the diameter as 9/16, which would mean the radius is 9/32. So let's do that. And I can throw curious if I throw a radius dimension on there, that should show up here. So that would be 0.281 or 9/32. So O, enter 932 and click this guy over. There it is. And then the other one we already did on this side, and that was the 9/16 value. So from the center over 9/16. I feel like I made a mistake on this one. I'm going to turn my construction lines on and see. Well, of course I've already deleted them. Did I blow that? That's the center. Yeah, I did. That edge, for some reason, I have off. That one I have right. Look at that. That guy, for some reason, I made him wrong. I need to move that little hidden line over from there to there. Hopefully that didn't confuse you. Confused me. All right. Yeah, so I think we've got that side taken care of. And now we will get the construction lines going for the cylinder up here. So we have its center right there. That's its center line. And we need to offset for the hole and for its outer dimensions as well. The hole is a 7/8 diameter, which would mean a 7/16 radius. So 7/16 on both sides. And then the outside diameter is 1 7/8, which would be 15/8, which means its radius is 15/16. So 15/16 on both sides. And that just happens to be the same as this side over here, of course, which as a fraction is 0.938. So we have got almost all the vertical lines. There's just one last one remaining, and that is the boss. So the boss, as you can see, is 1/8 of an inch outside of this line. So that's our last offset. Oh, enter 0.125 and bring that guy out. There it is. Okay, so that should do it. It's looking pretty good. Let's start drawing some object lines and see what kind of trouble we get into. So, starting with the base of this thing first. I know it's pretty much like that. And then the cylinder, I know this is its center line and these are its outside edges. Right, so it's like that. And I know the boss sticks out like this here. And that's pretty much the shape of this thing. I know there are some hidden features. Let's knock those out real quick. I know we got the hole that runs through this cylinder all the way. I know there's this big slot over here. And it's a little weird. It starts here and goes across, but this line, this edge doesn't go all the way. And so what I propose, well, I'll tell you exactly where this line goes. It goes to the center line. That's where it goes, right there. And so that's where you can stop it. And then this line comes down here. And this guy comes down over here. And remember, there's another line right here, this edge that comes from this corner right here. And we don't have that information yet. It's somewhere around here, you know, and if you wanted to do like some kind of temporary line just to say, yo, don't forget about me. There's there's still a little line segment that's going to show this corner once we find out where that is from the top view. Okay. Of course, we got the center lines, and these guys will be our center lines. You could do those, you know, at any time. I usually do those when I'm dimensioning. We have the threads to do here. So let's take care of that. That's pretty easy. The threads are just a hidden line on all around. If I zoom in, let me zoom in a little tighter there. And you can draw this line 4 times if you want, or you could copy it. C-O, enter. And just place it 3 more times. There you go. So those are the threads. The inside line represents the root of the thread. That's the valley part. And then the outside line represents the peak of a thread, the larger part. So that would be on a bolt, and in a hole like this, I guess those are reversed. So the inside is the peak and the outside is the valley, or the root, as they say. So we're looking pretty good here. Let's do this revolved section. So you may remember that with a revolved section, you need a center line to indicate that it is revolving about that point. It's the same size center line as over here. We might want to just do these center lines now, just because. So let me show you here. Draw this center line, copy it. There, we need one there, and I'm going to put one roughly here. It doesn't matter, it's just approximately in the middle. Okay, and that will be the line that I use to, I'll offset that one to get my measurements for this revolved section. Once I do this, it's bugging me now that I don't have it there. Okay, so I need to offset this line, the width of this guy. Let me zoom out a little bit here. So how wide is this whole thing? The entire width here. We know that the radius is 15/16, right? That's 0.938. So it's double that, which means it's 15/8. That is the overall thickness. But the radius is really what we want to offset. So we'll just offset this center line 15/16 on both sides. Oops. There it is. That's our full width. And then we will offset it the width of the smaller distances here. So we have the outer edge of the slot and then the inner edge of the slot, which we are given with these values right here, 9/16 and 1 1/8. Again, we'll use half of those values for the offset. So the outer one, which is 9/8, we will offset 9/16 on both sides. So 9/16. on both sides. And then the inner one, which is 9/16 across, we will offset 9/32 on both sides. 9/32. Both sides. There it is. So now we got all the lines we need. We could have made those as construction lines rather than center lines. Maybe a little confusing. In fact, that is something I'm going to do. I'm going to select those guys and just say, you guys really should have been construction lines. Okay. And what's next? Go to my object layer and draw this. So that right there represents the section right there. And rather than leave it in place, and we could leave that as a revolved section in place. It looks a little weird, which is why I decided to do a broken out view of it. And it's easy to do. So I'm going to turn off my construction lines just so it's a little more clear. And then do a breakout around this thing here. So just coming in like this, and just some gentle break lines, nothing too severe. Just something like that. And similar break on the other side. And then trim it away. I'm going to zoom in a little so I don't trim away things I don't want. All right, and then you can delete this hidden line. And trim this part away too, because in the section view, that would not be there. Okay, so you are left with the side pieces, and that's pretty evident in the view that they gave us. I mean, they did the same thing in the original drawing. And now we're just going to go to our section layer and put some hatch in here. Looking good. And that's just the standard 1 scale. Okay, looking pretty good. There is a radius on these corners. The default fillet on this drawing is 1/16, so you might want to do that before you forget. And it's 1/16 radius. So these corners here are going to have that. There you go. And while we're at it, let's just do the rest of this thing. Since we got the fillet command handy. This corner is going to be filleted with that 16th. And not too many. This one here, the boss. Interestingly, the boss gets filleted up too. So from here, I think we're gonna wipe out that line. Yeah, you can see that. So that's a little tricky there. Do re-extend this line down before you forget. With the right layer. And the fillet here, right there. And then you're going to have to extend this line again. And this is going to go to just to the center where it blends in. And you'll have to make a little sacrificial piece here that you can then fillet. There you go, and delete that guy. There's no fillets on top because it's machined off on top and on the bottom as well. So the whole bottom is square, the whole top, I should say the top of the cylinder is square. The inside edges of the slot are square because they've been machined. So I believe that's it for the fillets on this piece. Zoom out a little bit. Let's do a little comparison on the one I have before, made earlier. And I think aside from dimensions and this center line, that's pretty good. Oh, and of course, this temporary line that we put here, marking that corner, we'll get to that later on. But that's pretty good for the main view here, the front view. And I think when we come back, we'll do the other two views. So, yeah. All right, guys. I'll see you next period, all right? We'll finish this thing up.